Hello, my name's TJ Swoboda. Forgive me as I continually look down at my notes, probably more than I maintain eye contact with you. I've spent a couple of hours today putting down to words what I want to say, and because I'm going to have to get a lot better at the speech-making thing if I'm going to shoot for the aspirations I'm about to discuss. But anyway, my name's TJ Swoboda. I want to talk to you today about the issues that affect you personally, issues that affect other people, issues that affect all 300 million Americans, and a few that affect all 7 billion of us living on this rock. You may not find yourself agreeing with me initially, or you might love my message right off the bat. In any case, please bear with me, as I'll probably say something to alienate all of you by the time I'm through. This country has seen a lot of changes for the better over the past 100 years or so. Reason has triumphed over a great deal of ignorance, and there are several areas in which your neighbors have less control over you than they did a century ago. We can marry or have intimate relations with whomever we choose, whether they be of the same or different creed, or the same or different gender. We can purchase books, pictures, and films no matter how objectionable others may find them. Among many others, these are freedoms that are not enjoyed in all so-called liberal democracies, and were not widely enjoyed in the United States in the early 20th century. We've also seen some changes for the worse. In many areas, the control your neighbors have over you has increased, and we've come to believe that the positive changes happened because of the negative changes, and that, therefore, negative change isn't negative at all. In 1913, the Constitution was, of course, amended to allow for a federal income tax. At the time, this was meant to move some wealth from the richest Americans and get it to the poor, but it was never meant to take a cent from the paychecks of single mothers working at McDonald's or their 1913 equivalents, yet here we are. As we stood up to ignorance and demanded that we have the opportunity to earn a living doing anything within our ability, regardless of our gender, race, or any other factor with no rational bearing on our ability to do a given job, authority has always been on the wrong side, until the 11th hour. Then the state passes a bunch of laws to institutionalize the newly popular, more rational behavior. The state then goes on to take credit for the social change, while they oppose other progressive changes until the last minute, rinse and repeat. Crypto-reactionaries of various stripes, crypto-racists, misogynists, what have you, now have ammo. The best lies always contain a grain of truth, and reactionary lies are no exception. It's a lot easier to draw people to the dark side if you can take an unattractive truth and distort it. This law runs counter to the spirit behind it, therefore the spirit behind it is wrong itself. And the baby goes out with the bathwater, and we have yet another angry white man. Distrust of the government is characterized today as right-wing, but this hasn't always been the case. In America's early years, people who wanted a strict reading of government power from the Constitution were correctly called liberals. The poorly named Federalists, who were really centralists, wanted a broad reading of government power and were rightly called conservatives. Since then, a glacial process has taken place, during which people with genuinely progressive social attitudes have looked at the political rights legacy of ignoring the law and Constitution, judicial activism, and general rule of man rather than the rule of law, and said, hey, these things would be okay if they were used for good. I'd like to think that if I had kids, I'd want them in a school where they'd learn, frankly, about penises, vaginas, and Sally has 2 mommies. But because I don't want to force that on you and your kids at gunpoint and then claim, oh, it's not actually at gunpoint if it falls under the social contract, because I'm opposed to this, supposedly, I'm a right-winger. Social progress only takes place at the barrel of a gun, we've come to believe. Except it's not actually at the barrel of a gun, well, as I just said. But I have a modest proposal. Let's think of distrust of government as being liberal again. And let's think of ham-handedly using the government to create security for ourselves as conservative once again. I know I can't sell more than a few people on this idea, if anyone who doesn't believe it already. And it would be wrong to force a sudden vacuum of government on all 300 million Americans. I've been an anarcho-syndicist. I've dreamed of a world, or at least a few hundred square miles, without government. Again, though, it would be wrong to force this on those of you who are terrified of it. Those of you shaking your head at my naivety right now, I know that you would understandably lash out in such a situation. You're terrified of whomever might fill the would-be power vacuum currently occupied by the devil we know, and I want all 300 million of us to be able to pursue freedom in the manner we think will be most effective. Now, I love this country dearly. America, however, our people and culture, that is, aren't joined at the hip to the government. As my views evolved from anarcho-syndicalism, I came to favor a velvet divorce for the country. Yeah, let's secede. The Free State Project's working out great. Wait a minute. The idea that I've settled on is one of an open marriage. Let's not abolish the government, but shrink it to fit those who still want it. It would lose its monopoly on governance. All of us, left social democrats, libertarians, social reactionaries, and everyone in between would have a place in the country to pursue their idea of freedom. If this sounds far-fetched, well, it is. Is there any way with a probability greater than 0 to make it happen? Well, someone would have to step up and make it happen. That's why we want a government, after all. Take some money from my paycheck that I won't even miss, and just get this list of things done. A museum, food for the poor, national defense. I want somebody else to take care of this for me. Well, as for the monumental task I just described, I'd like to step up and offer my services as one of the people who helps get it done. Today, August 6, 2010, is my 35th birthday. Today we're conditioned to use the word humbling proposals such as my indecent one here, but I have to quash the urge because there's nothing humble about it. I would like to declare my intention to seek the office of President of the United States in the November 2012 election. That's right, I want to lead the very organization that I want to get away from. I'm grossly unqualified to do the job traditionally associated with that of the President. President Obama was a bit inexperienced going in, but he was infinitely more qualified than I am for the job. Again, though, the traditional job is not the one I'll be doing. I'll be taking steps to shutter government agencies, and then instead handing them off to the people most terrified of losing them. My running mate is going to be a professional politician, as yet undetermined, who thinks that libertarian ideas of peacefully blowing up the government are naive in the extreme, and yet likes my idea of an open marriage for America. There are trillions of tons of details to be worked out here. How exactly would the logistics of all this work? I don't know, yet. But I'm an optimist, and believe that if classical liberals such as myself stand up for what we want, and modern left liberals and right-wingers stand up for what you want, we can make it happen. That's how we keep our rights, after all. We get up each morning willing to fight if someone tries to take them away from us. This applies to our first-generation negative rights that most of us hold sacred, as well as, much as I may reject them, second- and third-generation rights as well. If enough people get out of bed expecting socialized medicine, they'll get it. I'm putting this video out there. We'll see if it goes viral. If you believe in my message, pass it on. Email it, put it on Facebook and MySpace, and maybe the whole idea is incredibly stupid. But maybe it'll just fizzle, and that's okay. I tried. I don't see any other complete nobodies trying to start presidential campaigns on their 35th birthdays, though. I thought everyone wanted to be the Don when they grew up. Apparently not. But believe me, I am a complete nobody. I'm America's answer to Arthur Dent. But anyway, if this video goes viral, I'll just have to start up a campaign and we'll see how far I can take it. Getting any electoral votes at all would be a tremendous victory, obviously, and could set the stage for a real win down the road. A couple of years ago, as I thought about doing this, I didn't think I stood any chance of actually winning. But consider this. Whatever we think of Barack Obama's stance on issues and actions as president, and personally, I agree with all of 2 things he's done, this is a man, a black man, who in 4 years flat went from Chicago ward politics to the White House. If that can happen, all bets are off. My chances are extremely slim, but I do believe that they're greater than 0. Make no mistake, I'm not running on a platform of taking back our country, restoring the Constitution, or anything like that. We've been ignoring the Constitution since the Adams administration at the very latest. The system is irreparably broken. I intend to hand said system over to those who disagree and think it can be fixed, while the rest of us live under a far simpler law that can pretty much be summed up as don't hurt or steal from other people. America will live on. The current government monopoly and power won't. My name is T.G. Swoboda, and I'm running for president. Crap, that was the villain in the Michael Douglas movie, wasn't it?